Strong's for the terms of the Northern Army in Joel chapter 2, he's not talking about the Russians. He's talking about extreme north. He's talking about space, outer space. An alien army coming in from the great north of space. And so you tie those two invasions together. You'll have a locust invasion, and then you're looking at an alien invasion from the uppermost part of the north. Which, if you break down the north and the terms used in that, Joel chapter 2, you're looking at a alien invasion from space. And so find it interesting. Both could coincide about the same time. And when that invasion comes, they come by fire. Also, the locust invasion. I could get into descriptions of that tonight, where it talks about these locusts. And the reason I bring it up is I find it interesting that all across the country, and perhaps the world, you're finding these sewers that are being dug or fenced in. Maybe they're just already natural habitat types of sewers. And you're finding fences being put around them to keep people out of them. And it was kind of a phenomenon. We didn't really know what was going on. I heard about it from several people in various cities, that they had sewers were having fences put around them. The Illuminati has plans. The whole royal branch of the Illuminati giving up their control of the earth and leaving it to the bushes and just leaving the earth. No, I haven't heard that from Peggy Kane. I know a lot of you that cover Peggy Kane's reverse speech material, where she says the same things. I've actually been in contact with somebody else. They have told me that this person that has contact with the Illuminati in a backward sense kind of way. One of these children that were abused, these SRA victims, where they're abused, Montauk girls that I've been in contact with, who has seen and heard a lot of things in regards to the plans of the Illuminati. And she was describing to me how they plan to open up the sewers, the tunnels. They're going to open up the tunnels and let all these demonic and alien beings flood from the lower part of the earth onto the surface of the earth. So the one thing I'm thinking the whole time I'm listening to this is that's the locust invasion. If you read Revelation chapter 9, that's the locust invasion. Of course, she was relating it to the reptilians, the lizards. And we really don't know what these locusts are that are coming from the Euphrates. I know the Masons, Hal Lindsey, 32nd degree Mason, refers to them as being helicopters. And I'm not real settled with that one. I haven't really been able to pin one way or the other what these beings are. I don't think it's a form of transportation. I think it's a literal being, because the Orgone's going to be able to kill them. And so an Orgone wouldn't kill a helicopter. Of course, we're seeing them crash UFOs, so perhaps they crash these. I don't see 200 million little helicopters rising up out of the Euphrates. But you can almost envision watching 200 million demonic beings coming up out of the abyss. When you talk about the abyss, people generally get a perception that the abyss is hell, that it's in the center of the earth. Of course, when you look in Hebrew, the original Hebrew writings, the term abyss is always referred to as space. And so when people do translations, you read the KJV, it's like when they translate the word abyss, or did they mean Sheol? Did they mean Hades? Did they mean hell? Or did they mean space? So we're kind of limited sometimes with some of these translations. My Bible Code program is in the original Hebrew language, and so everything I catch from that is in regards to Euphrates or space, and so that's the way I kind of term it both ways. I term it either the Euphrates River or space, because obviously the Hebrews do talk about the Euphrates River, and it plays a dominant role in the last days. The Euphrates River does. I also see the Dead Sea brought up a lot. And I don't know exactly why. And I've talked to a friend of mine that lives out in Israel about the Dead Sea, why it would be so significant for the last days. And there's really nothing down there. The southern part of Israel, you have the Dimona nuclear power plant. And other than that, it's all desert. And I think that's where they're going to find haven and refuge. Because I see this area associated with Jesus that's coming, the Sananda that's coming, the second beast. I see it associated with him. And so it kind of goes along. I've talked about how they have this fake Ark of the Covenant in Ethiopia, and how they were going to have this whole procession thing of bringing it out of Ethiopia and taking it to Israel, and how the whole thing's fake, and it's a duplicate copy, and the whole thing is just fake. But it would deceive probably almost everybody in the world except a small fragment of the Lord's true believers, because it's not going to deceive his elect. And so, but you're going to see a lot of church people get deceived by it, because I've always said define elect. Not everybody in the churches today, not everybody in the bride is considered the elect. The elect is a small group within the bride. Because the Lord says over and over again, makes it very clear that a large amount of the bride is not going to be raptured off the earth in a mysterious rapture. They're going to be put through testing in martial law. And that's the souls under the altar described with the fifth seal. This is martial law. It's martial law here in America and around the world. They're going to come up with this whole legislation. Eventually it's going to be global. It's almost going to be like this Sharia law now, that the Muslims use, that anyone that ticks them off, they just kill. If they can't beat you down and suppress you, they kill you. If they can't control you, they kill you. Follow us or die. You know, they do it to their own people. They're not going to be much more generous and nicer and lenient to anybody else. And I wouldn't be surprised if Sharia law was announced, because whatever announcement Bush does, it shocks a lot of people. It shocks a lot of people. And there's an uproar over it. And so I don't know what he's going to announce. Even his hate thought legislation that they passed last year shocked a lot of people, but there wasn't too much of an uproar out on the streets over it, because I don't think anybody thinks he has the guts to enforce it. You know, just wait until he arrests the first person for a hate thought crime. And so maybe he does. Maybe he pulls that one out and starts enforcing it, and starts arresting people for things they could possibly be thinking. Whatever he does, it's coming. It's around the corner. He's going to start. Couple things interesting. The whole thing with Al Gore. Was reading, gagging, about a week or two ago when this first came out, about how the superdelegates in the Democratic Party could, by their own selves, decide that if in October or August that Hillary Clinton or Obama can't win the majority of the delegates, that the superdelegates within the Democratic Party could prevent both of them from winning outright and offer Al Gore as the nomination for the good of the party. So out of all this whole process of election campaigns, it can come down to 100 people to throw all of that out, cast all of that aside, and say, we're not going to give you Hillary or Obama, we are going to nominate Al Gore for the good of this party, for this nomination. And that's exactly what they can do, and that's exactly what they're talking about doing, is getting Al Gore in. Now, that doesn't surprise me. I've warned about Al Gore for years. I've always warned you guys, don't count him out. He's not dead. He hasn't gone anywhere. He's very powerful behind the scenes, and of course they accredit his behind-the-scenes power to his Nobel Peace Prize for his global warming. One politician says there's global warming, and about 80,000 scientists says he's full of it. I think I'll believe the scientists.